What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Street Fighter Duel video. Well. Look who's here. Big Daddy Sagat is finally dropped. I actually didn't expect this, to be honest with you. Indomitable Emperor is here. I thought this was supposed to be happening tomorrow. Now, one thing I did notice in the patch notes that isn't here is going to be his EX move. Now, either I'm blind, but I don't seem to see a Sagat kicking around. So, I believe that may be out tomorrow. And if it is out tomorrow, I'll look into it a little further when it is out. I'll give you guys a review on it, and we can talk more about it then. But for now, what we have is just the character himself. And I'm going to go through that real quick. Sorry, I'm going to go through these real quick as well, too. And talk about what he's all about. So, my first impressions about him and whether he's going to be worth summoning for. Now, right away, his kit actually did not change too much from what I showed from the other versions, which is a good and a bad thing. So, let's look at him and talk about him, and then we're going to do his actual fighter trial, and then we'll talk more about everything else that he is, okay? So, first and foremost, let's talk about his passive, okay? They've changed it from Emperor status to Imperator? Imperator? What is an Imperator? I'm sorry, guys. I gotta Google this. Like, what is... I need to know the definition of Imperator. Is the root of the most Romance language word for emperor. English word emperor. So they use the Roman term imperator rather than the English term emperor. I'm blown away by this. The fact that they just can use emperor. Anyways, not sure what the reasoning behind that is, but there you have it. So let's talk about it. Unyielding Imperator. What a weird word. Enter Imperator status when HP falls below 75, 50, 25. So every 25%, he drops HP. For the first time, he gets this status. Now, what does it do? At level 2, it gives you a 40% boost to effect accuracy while he's active. And then at level 3, he gets a 40% effect resistance boost. And then at level 4, he gains damage immunity for 1 second upon entering, which is so small. I don't know why they made it so small. So, anyways, takes 75% less damage and gains super armor for 5 seconds, then recovers 40% HP when the effect ends. That's pretty damn bomb, not going to lie to you. Now, this is important. You're going to see why in a second why this is important, okay? But let's talk about his super. Now, strikes a target 5 times, dealing damage equal to 685% of attack, then gains 40% effect accuracy for 15 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. The reason why this is very impressive is because he has last 3 strikes have a 10% chance base to stun for 3 seconds. Now, the reason why this is so important is that 40% chance is not equaled into this 10%. And the fact that this stacks 3 times, he'll be able to stun pretty much almost every time as long as the opponent doesn't have a very high effect resist status, right? I'm going to say Emperor, guys. If an Emperor status, the first 2 strikes have a 15% base chance to inflict stun, so increases a little bit more the first 2 strikes versus the last 3 strikes, right? So this becomes a 5-strike combo, which is exactly what this is. So the entire combo becomes a stun chance, which is pretty wild, to be honest with you. So very impressive PvP and story-driven super combo. Where this fails, unfortunately, is against bosses. Keep that in mind. Sagat is, and this is what I said from the get-go, he's not going to be a boss unit. He's going to be strictly a PvP, PvE storyline, inverse world, not tower, I shouldn't say tower. There's no tower yet for Master or Infernal. So he's going to be pretty much I guess Supreme Fist regular tower if you plan to use him there. He'll be a unit for that stage specifically where he will be in PvP. He's going to be a menace, so I'm curious to see how he plays out in PvP. But yeah, so PvE as well to story mode, like a first, second, third team string, he'll be good on every one of those teams just with this alone. The fact that he stuns this often, I'm assuming he's going to be able to interrupt as well too because of these stuns, because it'll stop combos from going through, okay? So combo 1. Strikes a target 3 times, dealing damage equal to 402 of attack and reducing the target's effect resistance by 30%. So that's crazy. Now this is going to affect the target, so which means anybody who has a burn, stun, shock. So let's say Bizang, for example, with him. What's another stunner, right? If you have Dalsim, Viper, you have anyone with a burn and a stun. Think of like T Cammy. He'll be a perfect addition to that team because he'll be able to reduce the effect resistance, and then you'll be able to do a lot more dots on that opponent a lot more often. So very, very cool C1. The problem is, though, there is a problem, of course, is the fact that he now competes with other C1s, which is a pivotal role for buffing, right? You have Elena for healing and her attack up and speed up, which her with her battle dance at FS30. Then you have Yang obviously with shield and healing, which is not that big of a deal. But then you have Street Poison. Street Poison's huge for this because she gives you the crit damage up, the pressure up, as well as the attack up, and that can stack up to 5 times. So this is going to be interesting to see how he plays out. Now there is a bonus here though. The more he does this, he stacks up a healing buff on himself, which gives him 60% increased healing, which works really well with the Emperor buff, because Emperor buff, after it ends up giving you 40% healing back. This will also give you a little bit more now, so 60% of that 40% increase. So that gives you what? That's 100% of 40 is 40, obviously 50% is 20, so it gives you about 25% more healing, right? So you're looking at roughly about like, I don't know, 65-ish% more healing done overall for that passive, which is really cool. And then also, if you're in Emperor status, reduce the target's effect resistance by additional 50%, so dropping it by 80%. So even better if you have Emperor status going on. I refuse to call it Imperator. Like, it sounds like you're the Emperor of Imps. Stupid. Anyways, combo 3. So this one here is called Tiger Cannon. Unleash Tiger Cannon, dealing thunder damage up to 700% of attack to a single target with a 100% base chance to inflict shock, which is wild. So this could work really well as well too with the shock team. Unfortunately, you eat up T Cammy's slot for her C3, which is her biggest damage dealing move, so he wouldn't work well with her. But anyone else who is a shock team, he might actually work decent with, because he does do 100% shock, and then has a 30% base chance to stun. Upon inflicting stun, lose 40% effect accuracy for 3 seconds, but unleash another cannon. The additional Tiger Cannon counts as a trigger skill. It doesn't say here that it continues going, so we'll see if his FS or his card does that. Okay, so there you have it. Very much a PvE PvP unit, guys. Okay, let's go into his fighting spirit. Look at that real quick. Muay Thai King dispels 2 debuffs upon activating Emperor. So that's really cool. So he not only does he heal himself after the buff drops, but when he enters it, he removes 2 debuffs, which is good. Assist. When the fighter is in assist position, unleash Tiger Blast. When an assist fighter deals thunder damage, Tiger Blast deals 40% thunder damage to all, inflicts a shock. So that's actually not bad. This could work really, really well as an assist for T Cammy. So because she doesn't want to stack as much shock, and 100% base to do shock, it is every 10 seconds, which is still not bad actually. So this might be a very good assist for her. I'll have to do some testing to see if that's the case, if I plan to even get him up, to be honest with you. Upon activating Emperor status, reduce damage taken by all allies. Oh, that's really good. Wow, holy crap. By 30%. So again, another very good PvP and PvE FS. This is incredible, actually. So this is going to be really good for everybody to have this. So good, again, PvP, PvE, okay? Resist fatal damage once per fight. Once triggered, recover 20% HP and jump into Emperor status. So that actually now eliminates the 75, 50, and 25. Gives you an opportunity to do it at 1 HP as well, giving you 20% HP back again. Then activating Emperor status increases the damage of Tiger Cannon by 40% for the rest of the fight. Stacks up to 3 times. Holy crap, that's going to do a lot. So that's what, 120% more damage on this. And this already does 700, so we're talking about 820% more, 820% damage total. Okay, so that's not bad. That's actually a pretty good C3. It's not like an overpowered C3, but it's still a good C3. Again, PvP, PvE. He looks like they kind of did drop his C3 a little bit in terms of how often it can blast off after a stun, because in the other version that I showed you guys, he did it like 5 times in a row, right? So they must have obviously toned that down quite a bit. So before we do the trial, let's look at his cars, because that might be where that comes into play now. So Garage, here we go. Tiger Barrage. When Tiger Cannon hits the boss. Oh, ho, 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 they changed it. Oh, I take it back now. He might be a boss unit now. When Tiger Cannon hits the boss, there's a 30% chance that he might unleash it again. So that's another 820% if you guys can do the FS30 for him on a boss. So you can do it 2 times in a row. That gives you guys 1,640% if you guys unleash it at 30%. Each consecutive Tiger Cannon deals 100, 200, 300, 400% more damage in order from the 2nd to 5th time. Oh, so there is a chance to unleash it more than once. Okay, so maybe there is a chance. So maybe the wording is just off. So this is a must-have for bosses, guys. This is a must-have. So there you go. I take it back. He is a unit for all content now. So the cars make him different. This is what I meant. The cars make or break a character. So there you guys have it. He looks like he's actually going to be a unit for all content. So Sagat looks like a good pull. So I'm going to go ahead and try to go for him. All right, guys, this is Payne. I'll talk to you guys on the next one.